And now, from Grid Square Echo Mike 48, this is 100 Watts and a Wire.
Well, hello and welcome, brothers and sisters. This is Amateur Radio Amplified on 100 Watts and a Wire. It's Christian. My call sign's Kilo Zero, Sierra Tango Hotel. And whether you're an experienced ham radio operator or just getting started, this podcast was created to mentor, entertain, and provide a community for radio enthusiasts around the world. You're listening to episode number 394. You can tune in every Sunday at 6 o'clock Central or subscribe wherever you get podcast, and we will hand deliver it to you as soon as it's finished. We'll bring it right to your device. Of course, if you have a question, you can always drop us a line and tell us what's going on with you, and of course, we'll try to help. How are things going with you, everybody? A little bit different approach today, if you will. Doing a solo show, in part because I've been home all but one day this week with my girls. My youngest was sick first, still sick, and then my oldest, and you know how it goes. On to Mama and probably me next week, but we'll see how it all pans out. I hope you're staying healthy and everybody in your tribe is doing well. And it's been busy around here, regardless of what's happening. I got to tell you about the weather because the weather forecast is certainly playing a part in what we're doing around here. Currently 40 degrees as I record this episode, and outside it is high winds. Although they've chilled quite a bit, we're still seeing sustained winds upwards of 21.7 miles per hour. Last time I took a reading across the roof. And that's enough, man. That is enough to bring down a lot of limbs and dead wood. And you know me, I've got my antennas up in the trees, man. They're up in old oak trees, and I hope that I have them over limbs that will be around for a while. You know. But out toward the tips, you get a lot of smaller limbs, and they crack and split. It's like Mother Nature's haircut. Anytime we get winds like this, it's kind of natural, it's fine, you know. But anywho, I plan to do a walk and talk just to go through things and take you with me. And I went out there for a little bit, not under the trees. That's a widowmaker situation, and I don't even want to get involved in that. I'm enjoying living. But these damn groundhogs, or whatever is moving, it seems bigger than a mole to me. They are burrowing so much into the ground that it's making it incredibly difficult to not snap off your ankle and your foot. So I'm out here walking around. I am looking up at the trees, what I can see. And, you step right in a hole. And again, a hole. And it's been raining, and it's wet, and it's not like it's not safe just walking across the yard because of that, and then you've got the wind. So I can't really get out there and give you a proper episode of a walk and talk. However, if you are a subscriber to the podcast, I can certainly send you the audio file of when I go out there and do it. I hope the ground hardens up a little bit more. It's these darn holes. You're going to hear me, what? Stepping all into place. But other than that, we've been fine. We were lucky. We've had days where high winds have come through. And I've been lucky. I'm just going to keep knocking on wood. I've been hearing on the radio, a lot of people are still dealing with the snow. We're into March now, and you can't trust March. We've had 60-degree days. You wonder why people are sick? Oh, it's March, and it's 60, 64 degrees in this part of the country. We're not quite exactly in the middle, but here in the heartland, we're certainly, close enough to the middle. And the temperatures are certainly warmer than your traditional March day. in the past. Used to be, about 20 years ago out here in Missouri, I'd plant potatoes with my mentor, my gardening mentor. Get the ground ready right around sometime in February, and by St. Patrick's Day, you were dealing with potatoes. You were putting potatoes in there, and I think that was just a clever way to remember that you were going to do the St. Patrick's Day marker and put your potatoes in the ground, lime them up, cut them, put them in there, smack them up, flip them, rub them down, is what we used to do. But then you started getting a lot of rot. Your seeds would rot. Potatoes would rot. Ugh. So we got to wait. We're going to wait a little bit. And March is, you just can't trust March. But if you're celebrating a birthday in this month, we'll trust you. The weather, not so much. Not so fast. I did ask some friends what they were up to on our Facebook group. What projects you're going to be working on, and people are starting to bring in some answers for that. A lot of different projects I've got in mind. One's a mobile project I want to do. I want to try a different antenna. I waited, and you tell me if this happened to you. I placed an order with Diamond, and things had been back ordered. I'm probably waiting 2 months. I'll have to check it out and get you the real skinny. But I believe I ordered something before Christmas, so that makes it even longer. And part of it was a lip mount for my truck. And for, an NMO or whatever kind of connection for the antenna. And I also wanted to get a new piece of coax to run from the antenna back to my power supply in the truck for the antenna, just to make sure I had everything right. Took months. Are you having any trouble getting your deliveries in? Have you noticed things have been out of stock? Yeah, it's kind of different. I don't know if it wasn't HRO's fault. That's who I ordered this round from. It wasn't their fault. They just couldn't get it. The maker wasn't making it. And that's really what happened. So that's where we are. However, today I go out to the box, took my walk up there on the concrete because, look, I told you about the ground. I'm trying to snap my ankle off. And it came. It came today to the house. So I do have a project I can work on. If it would get a little warmer, it would probably be perfect. I can maybe go out in the garage. All I really need to do is change the mount. I'm going to put a new antenna on the mount, run the coax back through the body of the car and to the back. I keep a separate battery supply. I don't tap into my truck battery for this. I find it gives me the benefit, one, of isolated power. Number two, I'm not pulling anything from the truck. I don't need anything like that going on. So that's what I do. And I just run it along the floorboards back to the back and pop it back out. It took a little bit for me to get comfortable playing around with the truck and pulling out the baseboard and some of the plastic where the seat belts go and, poking a hole in, the grommet. I guess they call it a grommet in the firewall to get through. But I like the mount because I'm not drilling holes. It does fine. Truck's high enough. And I haven't been pressed to really do this because, frankly, there's not so much action on 2 meters that I can't, that I'm missing. I'm not missing anything. Could probably turn it up here and see if anything comes across, but let me see. If anything happens while we're here, could, because I'm recording on a Friday. Let's see. All right. I'll get it on a scanner. We'll see who comes up. But anyway, I felt like I want to change my antenna, do something different. I heard Larson was a good company. Sidecar Steve mentioned that, so I thought, okay, let's try it, and I will. But I'm currently scanning right now for our listeners. If something comes up, you're going to hear it because I've got it turned up. But it's not like I'm missing so much, if it was so active around here. And I don't know. That's a whole different kind of commentary about what's going on with 2 meters, 440, and repeaters in local areas. Shoot, I went up to New York and I was surprised. I had several repeaters. And, every now and again there was a splattering of contacts or, people just talking to one another. I was up there when Field Day was on, and I thought, wow, this will be cool. We're definitely going to hear a lot of stuff now. A little bit. I'm talking New York City, Manhattan. And I think it goes back to, and it's an interesting topic that we can explore, and I'm interested in hearing what you have to think about this. Is what's going on with 2 meters? Is it the repeater owners? Is it just people aren't as into it anymore? I don't know. And again, we're still scanning. And there's nothing to hear. So I'm not super pressed to do the job. I'm interested in the antenna. There's some nets on 2 meters that I like. I like to listen, especially during times of trouble. When we get weather, all that information sharing, all that's cool, man. I dig it. And to the credits, the radio clubs, I'm positioned in a town called Florissant. And to the west, we've got St. Charles. They've got a radio club. To the east, the Lewis and Clark Radio Club. They're to the east. And, and I'm in St. Louis area, right? A bit of static. Somebody not quite making it in. But we'll keep it up. Keep there, whatever. So between the repeaters of St. Louis, St. Charles, and over in like the Alton, Illinois area, I get good coverage, and I can kind of follow a storm going west right to where I am and then heading off to the east, or if something's happening, you know what I'm saying. It's good. It's good coverage, and when things go down, I lean on it, and I'm heavy on it. I'm listening. Scanners, all kind of stuff. As for casual conversation, it's a little disappointing. It's not nearly as much as I would want, but there you go. That's what's up. And so I want to share with you a note about our sponsors, tell you a couple projects that I'm in, and I mentioned, let's do this one. Oh, yeah, I missed the music. I got to get that music going. We're brought to you in part by PowerFilm Solar and Gigaparts, providing quality solar power solutions for your portable operating needs. To explore PowerFilm's selection of quality products, visit gigaparts.com and search 100 watts. All right? And you can help this show a great deal by simply doing this next thing I'm going to talk about, and I'll even show it. I think I'll show it. So on our website, you go to gigaparts.com, all right? Go to gigaparts.com and you'll see this page come up. This is more than they paid for, but I think it helps if they see numbers happening. Up in the search bar, top right corner, you're going to type in 100 watts, 100 watts, all one word, and hit a search, and you're going to come up with all the PowerFilm solar items that they have there for you. And I think those clicks really help. They really do help, and it will help the show if you can do that. No fancy fades on that music there, so sorry about that. Flying solo, we're not doing it live right now. We're doing it solo. And the intention was to bring you the walk and talk, but I think that's going to have to happen after this windstorm. I plan to get out there, and next thing you know, we're getting winds that were just a little nutty, and you can't be doing that. If you find value in 100 Watts in a Wire, you can support the content and the community you enjoy by visiting buymeacoffee.com/100watts. It's as easy as buying a cup of coffee. It was designed to be. You can consider the benefits of a monthly contribution. We have a dipole level, which is popular. It's $1 an episode. If you get enough from the content and the community for $1 per episode, just $4 a month. That's cheaper than a real cup of coffee at your local coffee joint. Visit buymeacoffee.com/100watts. And thank you. We have a link that we can share with you if you would like to support the show. I want to also tell you about a couple of projects I'm working on. I've been busy. A personal project that I started just under my name, Christian Kudnick. I'm telling my stories from rock radio and music in general. Starting off with short form content. You're welcome to join me on YouTube and TikTok if you're there. Christian Kudnick on YouTube. And I figure 30 years of history in broadcasting and podcasting, I may as well tell you some stories. Maybe the statute of limitations has expired, and I will change names as they need to be changed, just to keep everybody, out of the court systems. It's not all that bad, but, there are some interesting stories about things. And right now I'm enjoying tapping back into what's happening with music in terms of Kiss. They say they're going to have their final farewell tour. We'll see. Little comments on that. I'll probably expand into some longer form conversations and interviews. So you're welcome to join me there. If you're interested in music, culture, and history, that'll kind of be a repository for some of the things that are going on in my life and things that I'm interested in. You're welcome to come over there. And I've got a business thing going on now, too, which is interesting. With all these years in production and as a producer, I'm going to help businesses get their feet wet in the podcasting game and help them. I know that podcasting is a huge medium, and it helps businesses with leads. It helps them get sales. It helps build an audience. Why? Because we've done it. We've done it here. 100 Watts and Wire. We don't have anything per se to sell. I may get into some teaching and that sort of thing, but we don't really sell anything here. We use the community. We get the community together. We are a shared interest. We are rooted deeply in radio. We all love that. And we use it to a peaceful end. We get together on Sundays or whenever on the air. We've got a net. We do things, and podcasting has been part of my life since 2010. This particular podcast started in 2015. 394 episodes in. We still have a wonderful community. We've got Discord. We've got Facebook. We've got TikTok. And it's our hobby. It's our interest. So podcasting has served us really well with connecting like minds, like interests. So, too, is it true with businesses. Businesses can do it. And I started a company, a service company called Radio Core. So I've been building that out and working with businesses and individuals who want to learn about podcasting. It's great. It's a $2 billion industry today, and it's moving into $4 billion with a B by 2024. And I'm in the game, so I think I'm at that point now, 30 years into it, where we're giving back. We're still on the day-to-day grind, but not nearly retired. But between those two projects, of course, our podcast here, we stay busy. We do stay busy. You're welcome to join me at either of those, Christian Kudnick on YouTube and TikTok, and Radio Core if you're interested in podcasting. Some tips, news, and insights all will be going in that direction. I'm a content guy, so that's what's up. That's what we're doing. Interested in knowing what your projects are, what you're going to get into in the spring. It's always a great time to sort of, look things over. I get out there, and when I start to nitpick things, I realize, I forgot to tape this off. Oh, dear. I didn't do that. And early spring for me is a great time to get out there and start looking at the limbs. I talked about the wind and how things come down, usually toward the end, the smaller branches they tend to come down. But look, if the wind hits a dead branch, a big old one, it'll bring it down, and it'll bring it down across your line. I'm hoping and knocking again on wood that 160 is still up there, because that crosses a lot of trees in its path. It's a lot of wire. And 80 the same. Not quite as long, but still, it's all out there under the trees and running along, and the winds can just create lots and lots of work for you. So tomorrow, I will definitely know more tomorrow, and I plan to record as I go and wobble through all that and see how it goes. But I will notice once the trees start to pop and the leaves and the green starts to turn here in the coming weeks. One particular project I know for sure, I am over a limb like that is dead, certainly on the end. And I need to probably get off of it. I have to watch and see what green pops out of this branch. It is a big one. It's closer. I'm over it with my line, closer to the tree itself, the core, the trunk of the tree, not right up against it. That usually doesn't work out well for me, but closer to it. That, in other words, that branch is super strong. It is strong. It's what's out from it that bothers me, and I'm a little concerned that if it snaps out there, I'm going to be hanging a new antenna. And I believe it's my 80-meter antenna. We'll see. About 50 feet in the air. We'll know more when the spring comes and pops out. And we'll know more about what the winds did on tomorrow. I want to encourage you guys to join us. Of course, we're on social media. I mentioned Facebook, TikTok, YouTube. We do the live streams there. I am able now to live stream to TikTok, and that's exciting. I've only done it once, and I was so new and green to it that I didn't know. And I told the people, look, I'm on the TikTok right now. I'm live. I don't even know how to end it. So if you see me toss this phone across the room and it just tumbles and tumbles, then you figured this stream is probably over. But I need to do it again, and I meant to do it during the 160 contest, talking about 160 briefly here, because I'll let you go. You've been on the treadmill and on your commute, and that's okay. Well, 160 contest was the last weekend, and I went off. I mentioned on the last week's show, I think 31 states and one Canadian province. It was a lot of fun, man. I just love it, and I use that antenna specifically in that way. I wish all of you could get on 160 because we would have so much fun together. And if you're challenged with not enough land, look at some of the vertical options. I know you got to deal with HOAs, and bless her heart, you got to deal with your wife in occasions, and she doesn't want that out there. And what are you proposing? A flagpole antenna? What the hell? I think in HOAs, what's the rule? You've got to fly a flag twice a year or something? There are options out there, but my greater point being 160 is not the gentleman's band because maybe the people treat you nicer there. I don't believe that's true at all.
Whiskey Zero Tango Lima.
There you go, something local. I think it's maybe they were nice. Maybe they were drinking wine and wearing ascots and petting their Cocker Spaniels. I don't know when this happened, what age, time, what period we're talking about the gentleman's band. I haven't seen it myself, frankly. And I thought, a default idea would be that 160 is called the gentleman's band because you needed to have some real estate to pull it off. Doesn't make you a gentleman, though, so maybe they were nicer back in the old days. But if we could get on it, I tell you guys, there's so much more real estate there in terms of frequencies that are available that we could meet there and just, you would know where we were. It's like there's only so many signals happening. It's strong for about, 300 miles. And that 160 contest, man, I got up one morning like I normally do. I rise early. Saturday morning during the contest, I hear Hawaii. He was light. but I'm sure I was too. Hawaii? It was like 4,000 miles. We made the contact, and it's enough for me to go, okay, I know I struggled during this contest to get to the West Coast. I think it's just a matter that they aren't on at the time. You know, I've worked Oregon, I've worked maybe Los Angeles, I think, over the time. San Diego, perhaps. But during that contest, I don't know. I'd have to stay up maybe later at night or something to work them. It's a good contest. I test my antenna. I don't turn in my scores. I do probably need to upload my log to Logbook of the World. But even that's nutty. Do you know, and don't get me ranting, I was going to keep it short for you, but the ARRL or the Logbook of the World, whatever, whoever owns that world right now, I still haven't received Work All States, which is insanity. I worked 31 of the states in about, a few hours' time on 160. So it's kind of ridiculous, and I don't even want to get started. But if it's in my log, I count it. And I've worked all states for a long, long time now. Anyway, let me get off of that tangent. I want to know what you're struggling with, friends. If you are new to ham radio, if you're just finding your people and we sound like a place that you want to hang out, then by all means, jump in there. But let me know what you're struggling with. Let me know what you're interested in. This is a big, diverse hobby. And I just got an interesting note from our friend Glenn in Philadelphia. He says, can you talk about balloons? So here's an invitation. If you know about ham radio balloons and ballooning, sounds kind of freaky, but I don't think that ballooning is technically something that'll get you sent to HR. Drop me a line. I would like to bring you on the show and talk about ham radio and ballooning. Can we do that together? Of course we can. Let's do that. If you're struggling with something, you have a question, you want to suggest a topic idea, bring it, man. Just bring it. You can help point the show in a direction where other people need to go and hear it. I'm all about that. My contact's always in the description. But it's also easy. Christian at 100wattsandawire.com, 100wattsandawire.com. That's also our website, 100wattsandawire.com. You can get your 100-watt ID there. Buy yourself a sweatshirt, a mug, a sticker, whichever you like. You can do that. Just to check in on the 2-meter side. We did hear somebody sound maybe he was in a mobile. All this time we've been hanging together and no conversations. It's on scan. And anyway, I will let you know how things go. Perhaps when we all get back together on the live show and the live stream, we will talk about the mobile operation. I'm going to put this antenna on my truck, and run the cable, and I'll let you know how it does. Hopefully I'll have somebody to talk to. Let me know if you can do 160, your thoughts on 160, the antennas you might be able to put up. Think about that band as a place where you could definitely find plenty of room to spread out, in my opinion. All right, brothers and sisters, thank you so much. You can expect to hear some sort of walk and talk. Look for 100 Watts and a Wire on TikTok and YouTube. I usually put up something daily, and you can tap into that, and we appreciate you there. Our Discord server has lots of different topics that you could tap into, from gardening to Morse code and learning the code. And what else do we have? We have a lot of different topics, digital modes, things like that. We talk about the weather every day. It's a friendly group of people. It's not the biggest place, and sometimes that's fine. That's fine. We're also on Facebook, which is much bigger. And sometimes you get nitwits and D-bags over there, but it sort of polices itself. And if not, we have a good team of moderators who definitely help me out. And we want to keep everybody in our flock safe and happy and in a friendly situation. All right, brothers and sisters, take care of yourselves. Look out for each other. The weather's still tricky, especially here in March. Don't trust the weather in March. And by all means, if you can, whatever you do, try your darndest. Woo! Please try and stay above the noise. 7-3.
To join the 100 Watts and a Wire community, visit 100wattsandaWire.com.